Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. We are in our 20th year, believe it or not, brought to you by the fine folks at Mission Fed Credit Union, 60-plus years of doing great things in the community, whether it's food insecurity, whether it's financial literacy, or so forth. I am so thrilled to have this august group I wanted to use that word once in 2025, in the studio with us, Dr. Adela Torre, President of SDSU. How you doing, Dr. Adela Torre?
I'm doing well. Just happy to be here.
Absolutely. I'm a proud Aztec student, and my daughter went to San Diego State as well. My neighbor is in the house. He is the Chancellor of the San Diego Community College District, Gregory Smith. How you doing, Greg?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
How's that family years doing? And how old is the young one now? She's
going to be 4 at the end of this year, so it's a very exciting, fun time in our house.
No, that's great. And joined by my longtime friend and colleague, I've known Mark Cafferty. He's the president and CEO of the San Diego Regional EDC for a long time. We'll leave it as a long time, okay, Mark?
That sounds good to me. Thanks, Drew.
Absolutely. Why don't we start with you, Dr. Adela Torre? Congratulations on all the 4 billion great things that are going on in your university. I'll call it my university, too. Talk about this relationship you have with Chancellor Smith.
Well, we're really fortunate in that Chancellor Smith and I have been able to develop this unique project in Mission Valley, which will expand access to more students from the San Diego region. And that will be the opportunity to build a community college, San Diego Community College, that will intersect with San Diego State University, such that there will be an accelerated STEM pathway for our community college students into San Diego State, into STEM industry jobs. So this is a first of its kind in the CSU system. It never has been done before. And it's innovation in so many different ways. And it took 2 leaders to figure this out. But we're off and running. And I think it's going to transform access in a way that our community wants. You know, if you really think about it, this year we had 123,000 applications. And if we want to increase access for our San Diego residents, we've got to think differently. So I kudos to Chancellor Smith because we are off and running to the races.
Well, listen, Greg's heard me say this before. I'm a product of the community college system. It is a marvelous system throughout the country, but especially in California. And of course, San Diego Community College District does amazing things. You must be thrilled with this partnership, Greg.
Oh, absolutely. To be able to tell students coming out of high school that we have a pathway developed that can lead all the way to a very high-paying living wage job in an exciting industry, in the growth industry in San Diego, in partnership with San Diego State. That's an incredible thing to bring to students. And we find that when we can manage the process of how they transfer between our systems from high school to community college to a R1 university like San Diego State into employment, success rates go through the roof. And so this is really us delivering on our mission to uplift entire communities by providing individuals access to these opportunities.
Yeah, and the key is access. I know, Mark, when you hear the word STEM or STEAM in this aspect, I know you light up like a Christmas tree. Talk about why that is so critical for the regional EDC.
Absolutely, and as you know, Drew, it's an anchor of our economy. So biotech, the sciences, technology, an anchor of our economy. An engine for our economy is actually the partnership sitting in the room. The San Diego Community College District, SDSU, together, the partnership that they have already is something that ignites those 2 industries in San Diego by providing them with the talent they need, retraining and training the talent for the future. The partnership that they announced recently over right in the shadow of Snapdragon Stadium on a site that is going to be the future site of an innovation district, to really come out of the gate with one of the first announcements there being a partnership between our community colleges and SDSU, is very excited very exciting for us at EDC and exciting for the entire industry and economy here in San Diego as well.
Yeah, and I think what it just amplifies is the relationship of higher education in this region. Dr. Adela, Torre, just talk about how critical it is.
Well, when you look at the millions and millions of needs that we have for workforce, but particularly in San Diego and San Diego County, it's just not biotech, it's aerospace engineering. If you look at cybersecurity, you can go down the list. We just don't have enough trained, skilled individuals. So what we have to do is accelerate that. And we have to accelerate in a way that we can not only get them graduated, because San Diego State has the highest four-year graduation rate in the system. We basically need to increase the number. And so our plan is not only is the transfer pathway, but how can we work with K-12, community colleges, increase the number? And right now, San Diego State has about 44,000 students, 41,000 that are enrolled in the kind of the normal path, 3,000 in our global campus, which is the online path. And we need to get to 50,000 pretty quickly. And the only way we can do that is working with our sister organizations. And I say sister organizations because, San Diego Community College is probably one of the most important ones. And I think that in order to get to this point where we want industry to come here, we have to say, guess what? We have the best trained students in the country. We need to give that those industries a competitive advantage in hiring highly trained, skilled people. And that's going to require higher education to step up and be able to play in a bigger league, and that's what we're doing.
Well, and I know for Mark, you and I have talked about this all the time. You've been on the air, and it's nothing against our East County or East Coast counterparts. We want our students to stay here.
Absolutely.
We want them to stay here in those industries that are booming. Mark, talk about how important that is.
No, I mean, it's the most important issue in our economy today. I mean, there isn't a business we could talk to in San Diego who, if they sat across you right now in the studio, wouldn't tell you that the biggest challenge they have is talent. Trying to find talent, keep talent, train talent. And again, as I said before, I mean, the engine for doing that is sitting in the room with us. I would actually challenge industry to lean in a lot more than they currently do. It's not, the issue is not on the education side. The issue is in more of our employers starting sooner. And I'll just give you a really quick stat that factors into both of the community college district and SDSU. We have a series of what we refer to as verified programs in San Diego. These are educational leaders who are meeting every year with industry to make sure that as industry changes, they're changing in the classroom what needs to be taught at our public universities and at our community colleges. From those programs, more than 1,500 students applied for internships last year. Only 200 of them were hired, not because only 200 were qualified. Those were the only spots we could get in industry. So all 1,500 of those students should be hired and more in the future, because that's the way that you not only get the workforce into the pipeline, but you build an awful lot of connectivity between that young person, the industry, the company, and it just makes for a much easier transition and brighter future.
Well, listen, you are the certainly organization's got the footprint with those businesses. We're chatting with Mark Cafferty, President and CEO of the San Diego Regional EDC, joined by his colleagues, Gregory Smith, Chancellor of the San Diego Community College District, and President Dr. Adela de la Torre of San Diego State. Go Aztecs. On this edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by the fine folks of Mission Fed Credit Union. You know, as we talk about these things and socioeconomic mobility, that's in your wheelhouse, Greg. Talk about that.
Yeah, that's at the core of our mission, is providing people with access to the education they need to be able to improve their socioeconomic status, move from poverty wages into living wage careers to be able to provide for their family. And so many people know that story. It's a story that I lived, being able to go to a community college as a first-generation college student, transfer on to a public four-year university, go get a graduate degree, and now be able to come back into that system and lead the change. What's remarkable about this partnership, I really want to credit President de la Torre for thinking about how to expand opportunity for San Diegans. And as we've been talking about serving our local economy, we can't have universities that are primarily attracting people from outside of San Diego who come here for a few years because it's really fun to go to college and live in Pacific Beach and then go back somewhere else. And so this commitment is really about connecting San Diego residents with those opportunities to serve San Diego's economy. And for us, that means the 98% of our students who live in San Diego and stay in San Diego are going to have a better opportunity to be able to transfer on, complete an advanced degree, and really improve the quality of their life. And as we do that work, we'll see improvements in entire communities that are now thriving in ways that they weren't before because of these opportunities.
I think one of the things that we love talking about, of course, and you folks know this, you are in the relationship business, okay? It's all about relationships, whether it's student to student, student to professor, professor to business, working with EDC and community college on this. You can't go too far in San Diego County, all 3.4 million of us, and not know there's a touch point with San Diego State University or the San Diego Community College District. Dr. Adela, Torre, just talk about how important those relationships are.
Well, when you think about San Diego County, there are over 200,000 Aztec alums. Just think about it. We've been here from 1897. So we are, I would say, an institution. And what that means is that we have tremendous opportunities with our alumni to do exactly what Mark had suggested, which is really push the agenda on the intersections, because 82% of our students at San Diego State get internships. Their debt is incredibly low. I mean, almost over 60% don't have any debt when they graduate, and the debt's relatively low. So what a choice time to pick an individual and to accelerate them in the workforce. Mission Valley, the way we're constructing it is that we are going to work with industry, and our faculty that work there are going to adapt their own curriculum. So there is no reason for industry, so alums out there, hear what I'm saying, to work with us, right? Because we want our students to be the leaders. And you know what? They have the advantage because they're part of the community. Mm-hmm. And the accelerant, I think, that Chancellor Smith said, is the accelerant that these individuals are going to help and empower and grow the wealth of their families. So this is kind of the theme for San Diego State. We want access, we want to have opportunity, but we also want excellence. And so when you think of our students, I have to say there's no better student in the county of San Diego than Aztec alums.
There you go. When we come back from break, we're going to continue that conversation. We're going to talk more with Greg on the importance of transfer pathways for his students. Definitely want to shout out how proud we are of the research prowess of San Diego State, which continues to grow in that aspect. And then go back to my friend, Mark Cafferty, who plays such an absolutely critical role in meshing higher education with business. Not that Mark is ignoring K-12. I know that's important to him as well, which is the space that, I live in. And as we come right back chatting with Dr. Adela Torre, President of San Diego State, Gregory Smith, Chancellor of the San Diego Community College District, and Mark Cafferty, President and CEO of San Diego Regional EDC. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg with Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. What a just phenomenal group we have in the studio today. Dr. Adela Torre, President of San Diego State, joined by her colleagues, Gregory Smith, Chancellor of San Diego Community College District, and Mark Cafferty, President and CEO of the San Diego Regional EDC. Let me start with you on this, Greg, and you certainly can go ahead and add to it, Adela and Mark. Transfer pathways are just so critical to your students. Talk about that.
Yeah, so it's thinking about the transfer process and who gets lost in that process. And it can be very complicated, particularly for a first-generation college student who doesn't have the family or community resources around them to help navigate. So there are several really exciting aspects to what we're exploring at the Innovation District in Mission Valley. Having an educational center for our district and our 3 credit colleges embedded within San Diego State's 4-year university experience will bring students into that environment and allow them just to become familiar with the physical landscape, to start interacting with university faculty, upper division students, the resources that will be available in a way that makes that all very comfortable. And so now the idea of transferring is no longer, I've got to come into this unfamiliar space, figure out how to navigate it, experience imposter syndrome or whatever else might come with that. They already are part of the community. We'll move beyond just coordinating schedules and information or into collaboration, actually having our faculty work together. So as President De La Torre mentioned, having faculty working with industry partners on curriculum and then having our faculty working together to ensure that gets embedded all the way down into the very first courses that somebody's taking in their degree pathway. To be able to then leverage what we're doing with dual enrollment and introducing high school students into this, to bring that model into the lower division, upper division. And so imagine a future where we have upper division and lower division students sitting in the same lab with a university professor and a community college professor side by side teaching together. It's a whole new level of integration and collaboration that improves the learning outcomes, aligned with industry needs, and allows us to actually go out and say, if you come participate in this program, you show up and you try, you will succeed. And success means you will earn a living wage for your family and change the entire trajectory of your life.
No, that is a huge thing tied to hope and to confidence and all this. Mark, your organization is the poster child for really being on top of what the trends are in the workforce and that aspect of it, and working closely with them. Talk about how important it is, because you guys are so focused on that type of research.
Yeah, no, President De La Torre spoke about it. I mean, when people think of the innovation economy in San Diego, it's expanding annually. There's new industries. Energy, for example, is what we're going to be talking about in the years ahead, and really sort of focusing on the changes in that space. I would just say that the key to any strong economic development discussion strategy centers on 2 things. One is access to education and training. And then the second is investing local. And there's a myth in economic development that the thought is we're supposed to be traveling to different places to convince big businesses to move here or talented people to move here. Great economies have access to education and training, and they invest in who's here, whether that's investing in small and medium-sized businesses growing, which is where most of your job growth comes from, or it's investing in the talent that is already here. That's the talent that stays. That's why the numbers and the statistics from our community college district and from SDSU are so high in not only graduating people, but graduating people who stay in the economy, fill those jobs, build new businesses, hire new people, and just really kind of continue to accelerate an economy in the way that a place like San Diego has seen over the last 100 years.
Talk about your inclusive growth goals.
Well, for us, everything about our economic development goals in San Diego centers on 3 things. And one is training more skilled workers between now and 2030. More than 15,000 a year need to be trained to fill the jobs we have just to keep up with demand. The second is creating more quality jobs in our small businesses. And that means jobs that pay better, offer more benefits, and allow our small businesses to remain competitive and not lose all their talent to the bigger businesses in the region. And then the third one is the hardest one, and that's creating more thriving households. But more thriving households depends on access to education and investing again in what's happening local. The lens on all of that for us is inclusion. The lens on all of that is looking at what the demographics tell us, who San Diego is now and in the future, and make sure that that is where we're investing.
Yeah. Dr. Del Torre, talk about something you are so proud and your colleagues about being an R1 research university.
Well, You know, I have to say one of the most important things for me is the impact on our students because they have star quality faculty. I mean, we have faculty who are members of the National Academy of Sciences. You know, when you look at our research portfolio, even in this particular environment that is pretty difficult, we are even at the same level. You know, we are going over, if you think, $100 million or more in research funds. I think what's really important, though, is we are also being noted by across the world in excellence. So now we're in the top 3% in world rankings of universities. We're in the top 5% of research universities. We are in the Carnegie rankings of opportunity and community in terms of our link in intersecting our students into the community through internships and service. And indeed, our placement in this area is so critical for many organizations through internships. So we've been able to do things for the community that if we weren't around, wouldn't happen. So if you look at the Tijuana Water Project, that project is being done and led by our faculty. You know, if you think about Techstars, which is bringing industry from across the world to San Diego, that's being led by our faculty. You know, our Launchpad for Innovation, we're one of the top entrepreneurial schools in the country in our Fowler College of Business. So, you know, I could go on and on and on. We have a pretty deep bench, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Well, listen, this is not going to be the last time you're going to be on our Spotlight show. I'll tell you that right now. As Greg knows, he's been on before, and Mark's been a frequent guest. And this is the type of content that our absolute listeners thrive on and how they can actually interact on that. I'll start with you. We'll go around the room on this, and we'll start with you on this, Greg. What can our listeners do to continue to support this great innovation district you're doing, but even more, how can they support the community college district?
Well, first, I think that just maintaining awareness of what the programs are and just talking to people in the community. You know, as they're talking to a young person that's trying to figure out, how do I navigate this economy? What do I do next in my life? Knowing that the community colleges are here to serve everyone, and we are doing everything we can to make sure that we're serving the individual based on their needs. And so it does not matter what your GPA was. It doesn't matter where you might have struggled in other points of your life. We are here ready to serve you and put you on a pathway that can lead all the way to San Diego State, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, wherever it is that you want to go. And so just knowing about that and telling people you really should go down to Mesa College, Miramar College, City College, talk to a counselor, get enrolled. There are many different ways that people can support our program. So we serve a lot of people that are struggling with poverty in various ways. More than 25% of our students experiencing homelessness, over 40% food insecurity. So donating to the programs that we have to support student basic needs, even small amounts, giving $10, $20 can change the life of some of our students.
Is there a website or is there an email they can know? Should we all have them buzz Jack Beresford at 3 a.m?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one way if you know how to get a hold of Jack. Just going to our SDCCD.edu website can get you directly connected. We do a lot of work on social media. So if you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, TikTok, whatever your favorite social media channel is, we're on there. We're very easy to find. You do a quick search and you can get connected with our Promise program, with each of our colleges' foundations, support scholarships. There's many different opportunities to support students in their educational pathway through our colleges.
Absolutely. Mark, what can we do for you and that just amazing organization of the EDC?
I would just to turn it back to the partners in the room. To our large businesses in San Diego in particular, invest in and support our community colleges, offer internships, hire their graduates, invest in and support SDSU, offer internships, hire their graduates. All of that benefits our entire region. All of that helps us meet those goals I talked about earlier.
Dr. Torre.
So I just want to echo what Mark said. All of that's important. But what's really important, and it's something you said, Drew, it's about relationships. Keep the relationships with San Diego State alive. And you can enter at any portal, whether it's athletics, cheering the Aztecs, whether it's providing community service support, if it's creating opportunities for philanthropic engagement, if it's an ability to scaffold ideas as we build Mission Valley. I mean, think about it. Mission Valley is a first of its kind of a private-public partnership. It requires us to work with everyone across the public sector and the private sector. So we really, really want to strive that we are San Diego's university. We are the people's university. And we're committed to making sure that is sustained. But it's only sustainable if we keep our relationships alive.
Well, it is amazing what happens when we actually row in the same direction. What a shock that is in that aspect of it. I can't thank this trio enough for coming in. You talk about the leadership of our region, and it all starts with the leader. Now, all three of you are going, Drew, it's more, we know that you guys are the humblest folks around, for God's sake, and it's the staff and it's the students and it's everyone in between on it. But it takes that leadership and it takes that bold partnership, Dr. Adela, Torre, with you and Greg to do this, and the support of this iconic organization, the EDC, to continue this. This will not be the last time, maybe your detriment of having you on to share. And what I'd love to do is maybe have you come back on in several months or whatever. How is this working? Have you kicked the ball down the field even more at Snapdragon or whatever the case may be? So to Dr. Adela Torre, President of San Diego State, and to Greg Smith, Chancellor of San Diego Community College District, and my longtime friend Mark Cafferty, President and CEO of the EDC, thank you for spending time in your absolutely warp speed schedule to share this great initiative. We're going to have you chatting more about it down the road. And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.